Day 57 of semen retention, and it is getting me just like absolutely fucking jacked. Like when I shouldn't be getting this jacked. Like I've gotten so many allegations throughout the years of, using gear, using juice. I don't know what I could say on YouTube, but you know what I mean when I'm talking in this regard of, bodybuilding and building muscle. They thought I was using cheat codes for years, because, I had fucking acne on my body. I still have traces of acne scars everywhere. And I still have a bit of acne on my back, but I cleared it up from my face. I'm just very acne prone, and I have to be very proactive with it. And I also, when I was younger, I was a little fat kid. So I have a bit of gynecomastia as well. If you know anything about, bodybuilding, you would understand why I get these sort of, allegations, and I've been getting them for years and years and years. I'm the biggest and, leanest I've ever been. And, I still get them. And I understand why. But to think that my genetics are somehow superior to somebody else, that I could just build muscle much quicker, much greater, is complete fucking cope. I've been training for almost a decade now, on and off. I've had injuries where I had to take a bit of time off and all that. Maybe 8 years consistently, but let's just say a decade, because I started when I was around 17 years old on my 17th birthday, or 18th. I kind of forget it. It gets a bit blurry. But I started when I was about 17 or 18, right? And I've stuck to it. And I'm about to be 27 years old. Pretty damn old, right? But throughout that time, I made sure that I was just consistent with the training. That I kept, putting those hours in and perfecting my diet and training. And it took me until like 8 years deep to really get a true grasp and understanding of how to train properly and how to eat properly, and to actually implement it. I might have known for a couple years, but to actually implement all of it at the same time, it took some time. So now it's like I'm kind of starting fresh, right? And then I have also all of this fucking energy. I'm telling you, it will give you the appearance and effect. Like, it will make your muscles fuller. It increases some sort of testosterone within you, and just makes you look more just alive. Like, your muscles legitimately will pop more, whether you're in a deficit, on a cut, or not. Like, I just started bulking up again, and I feel great. Every single workout is fantastic. So if you're, into the gym, into working out, and you're natural, you should give semen retention a shot. I'm only 57 days in, right? Only 57 days in. And I'm starting to see, the benefits tenfold. It's a little bit hard to, tell from these sort of camera angles and stuff like that. But maybe I'll make a full video where, I'll show you guys, my actual fucking body, right? If you guys want to see that. But I've been training for a very long time, and just now I'm starting to finally surpass, some of the levels that I've been at before. I'll get to a certain point within a bulk or within a cut, and I wouldn't grow anymore, and I kind of got stuck. For a couple of years, I kind of just maintained a certain physique, but now I'm finally growing. Like, with all the extra energy in my body just craves some sort of growth, in every single aspect of life, but especially from my body. you know? And even though I was cutting, I was in a deficit for maybe about 2 months, right? I was in the deficit for about 2 months. And then I had to stop that shit because my body is just craving to grow. And you don't even need as much food as you think. Your body will just, you know, create create mass on your body out of completely nothing. Like, I don't know how that's even possible, but you have to understand that the impossible starts to happen when you're on this journey of semen retention. There's no other way to do that. You know, there's no other way to have, juiced up effects otherwise. And people will just say, oh, you just have good genetics and this and that. I might have decent muscle insertions, but the capability to build muscle, anybody can have that. You know, if you actually put in the work and the training for bare minimum a decade, you will see results. You know, especially if you start, everything proper from the very beginning. Holy, you will look like someone could dream of looking on juice. You know what I mean? A lot of people will take juice and not even look as good as me, you know? And that's not really being too egotistical or arrogant. That's just the truth. That's the truth. And then by trying to speed run and, get ahead of the game, you actually get very far behind because you can't maintain that. You can't maintain that for a long time, especially if your habits aren't on par and you're not actually taking care of your health. You're not actually eating right yet or training right yet, but you just hop into that and expect, groundbreaking results and to be the next, Mr. Olympia or something like that. It's not going to happen, right? So you can beat out all these motherfuckers by, keeping your health intact and, practicing semen retention as well. And then training, putting in the fucking work. Anyone can get a decent physique. Anyone can get, that Hollywood six-pack physique if you really put in the time, work, and effort. Some people need a coach, and that's okay. Be willing to spend money on a coach if you really need it. If you need somebody to have you be locked in and have you, actually be on your ass about your diet and your training, and they actually help you with your mentality and everything as well, that's a good quality coach, and you should be willing to pay any amount for that. You have to understand that. But also, you can do this shit on your own. You can look it all up. If you actually have, the discipline and dedication to get it done, you can get it done. You can be a monster, an animal with this shit by training on your own and figuring it out. That's how I did this shit. I looked up YouTube videos and all that shit. I never needed no coach. But a coach would have got me to my goals much, much, much quicker. So I'm just at the point where, I wouldn't need one now unless I want to, start competing or something like that. But that is not my goal, because I know it's a race that I cannot win. I cannot possibly win it. You can do anything, but if I'm competing against people who are juiced up and actually doing all the right things, it's going to take a long time to get to that sort of level. Maybe within the next 10 years, then I could compete and step on stage. But that really doesn't have too much appeal to me, to be honest, anymore. Maybe when I was a little bit younger, but I have different goals and aspirations, I care more about, taking care of my family and getting rich as fuck and just, taking care of that shit. And looking good and jacked and fucking full and all that shit at the same time. Like, I'm trying to just, become a fucking Viltrumite on this shit. Like, and I've been tapped into Invincible before any of y'all. So don't think I'm just dick riding just because the show is popping right now. But like, the energy and just source of just power that you will have within your body if your nutsack is full, you can't even imagine. Like, I've only been on this shit for 57 days, not even 2 months. And my body has never looked this, full and dense and just like juicy. Like I don't even look like natural anymore. I look the part. Like I look very, very good for, my weight too. Like I only weigh 140 pounds, but I look pretty damn big, That's more genetics and muscle insertions and all that shit. But I've been fat. I've been skinny. But you don't know your potential or what your genetics even can, hold without even trying. You have to just give it a shot. You have to try in the first place in order to even see if there's a possibility of you, actually winning and doing something great within this avenue of, whether it's bodybuilding or, getting a good physique or taking care of your finances, getting a good job, finding a good fucking wife, whatever your dream or goal is, you cannot get there without just trying, really trying hard and doing it for a long time. Because time will go on regardless, right? Time will go on regardless. So you have to just use it wisely. And for this past decade, I wasn't training, I wasn't working out. I would just think that the physique I have right now would be impossible without, hopping on any sort of juice or anything like that. And then I could have, started right now and then trained for a year and then been like, okay, now it's time to hop on juice. And then I ruined everything. I ruined my health. You can't maintain that. I can maintain and better my physique until I'm fucking like 50, 60 years old and keep getting better and better and better. And time will catch up to you. All this shit. After 30, your body's just going to, not agree with you anymore. That's bullshit. That's complete cope. That comes from people who, never took care of their body in the first place. So then they'll tell you like, your body's gonna fall apart. Just wait until you get a little bit older or this or that. Every year that I get older, my body gets better, I have to cater to it a little bit more, and make sure I'm eating the right way. Like I could get away with, eating so much bullshit when I was younger and I wouldn't feel the negative effects of it. But now I'm just very well versed in how diet affects everything. Diet affects, your testosterone and your actual capability to build any of this muscle in the first place, So if you're practicing singer retention, you should be training as well. You should be in the gym just, trying to get better in every single aspect. And every day, just picture what your body can look like every single day when you're working out, when you're training. Just picture what it could look like, and you'll get there eventually, because your mind is going to force you to get to that body if you just keep on thinking about it. And you're obviously doing the actions required to get there. You're in the gym, you're pumping iron, you're getting shit done. That's all it is. You just have to try in life, and you'll see how far you actually get, how far you actually go. It's not that complicated. Like when it comes to anything, you have to just not even think too much and just go for it. You know what I mean? When it comes to women, when it comes to approaching women, don't think about it. Just go for it. Just approach her. What's the worst that can happen? You get fucking pepper sprayed. She fucking screams. Like, that's pretty bad, and that should give you a little bit of real life altercation and be like, oh shit, maybe I gotta change something about the way I look, or my confidence or something. If it's actually that bad, it'll force you to, it'll help you change. But that probably won't even happen. You know what I mean? So just try. Just give things a try. The worst that could happen is, people reject you, people say no, you move on, and then you continue to, try some more. until you hit the max win of the girl you actually want to be with, the career you actually want to pursue. With this YouTube shit, I've been consistent as fuck. This is a problem that I had for the past, like, I don't know, couple years, right? I haven't been able to be consistent on this. I didn't know, what to make, or, I felt like I wasn't good enough, or I felt like I wasn't, a YouTuber or anything like that. So then it made me question everything and maybe stop posting, right? But I'm so driven now by my fucking nutsack, and I understand, my purpose on this shit. I understand, the content that I want to make, and I'm really enjoying the process of it. So it's just keeping me going. Like, it's part of my routine now. You know what I mean? 1 to 2 videos every single night after I hit my gym session or right before work, because I work at 1 a.m. 1 a.m. till 12 p.m., like a fucking 10-hour shift after this shit. So this is when I'll have, the most energy most of the time, the most creative energy to really, flow my mind and just keep on speaking to y'all and giving y'all advice and just kind of documenting what I'm going through. But with this YouTube channel, I've been real consistent, and finally, after a month, I could have gave up 2 weeks ago after I was getting not too much traction, but now I'm starting to get a bit of traction, a bit of momentum, and I already see where this is heading. I already see the world where I have 100,000 subscribers, and I've had that. Now I have 300,000, and all that, and then I'm making a fuck ton of money from it as well. So it's just all moving in the right direction, and it's something I truly enjoy as well. Making money from something that you truly enjoy and you're truly like driven by, that's the fucking goal. That's the dream. That's the American dream. Yeah, but that's everything. I fucking love y'all. Peace.